Breakdown. The field hockey team faces the defending national champions in a Big East showdown. How will they fare? Also, the men's soccer team has had quite the turnaround this year. What's behind the team's revival? Plus, the women's ice hockey team had a tough weekend, but will they bounce back when the ECAC play begins? And finally, we'll choose the game of the week. All this and more coming up on Bobcat Breakdown. Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm Phil Akery and I'm joined alongside the freshman duo of Chris Dacey and Drew Feinberg. Guys, how are we doing tonight?
I'm great.
I'm doing amazing.
Guys, let's get right into it. The Quinnipiac field hockey team is in their inaugural season in the Big East Conference, 4-12 overall. If this season ended right now, would it be a disappointment or success? Drew, let's start with you.
I'm going to say it's not a disappointment. I mean, a new conference is a new conference. It's a big change for anyone. I mean, even the Big East is a great field hockey program, or field hockey conference, and even having 3 wins in the season for Quinnipiac, I'd say it's not success, but I would not be disappointed with it, at all. I mean, they performed well, and this weekend they're playing against UConn, which is going to be tough. The nation's #1 team, defending national champions. It's going to be tough, but if the season ended today, I would say they should not be disappointed with how it's been.
I got to agree with you there. Excuse me. The season overall, so far, it's their first season in the Big East, like you said. It's been great. It's had its ups and its downs. Like, for example, they beat Old Dominion, number 19 in the nation. That's a big win for them. They're 3-3 right now in a new conference, especially like the Big East, where the talent in that conference. That's pretty great. I'm saying that's a successful year.
Now, guys, one of our analysts, Pat Pitts, said that the team has a 30% chance to beat UConn, one of the best teams in the nation, number 3. What do you think about that?
I don't think they have a chance here. I'm sorry. UConn's number 3 in the nation. They're undefeated. And Liz, I just want to go back for a second. UConn defeated Liberty 7-2. Quinnipiac lost to Liberty 6-1. UConn is stacked. This team is number 3 in the nation, as I said. They're undefeated. They're 6-0 in conference. They're playing at UConn. I don't know how it can get tougher for the Bobcats here.
I mean, I think there's always a chance. Crazy things happen in sports. We see it all the time. I'm going to reference the 2004 Red Sox team where the slogan was, "Why not us? Why not them?" They can think that, but in my opinion, I still got to say that there's not a big chance.
UConn is number 3 in the nation.
I understand.
Why not?
Can I give a reason, please? I still don't think that there's a big chance that they'll win because UConn has scored 87 goals this season. Quinnipiac has scored only 29.
You're comparing this team to the 2004 Red Sox? Those are two completely different sports.
I'm not comparing the team. I'm comparing the slogan that they used.
Guys. Let's face it now. They have a lot of good senior talent, a lot of upperclassmen that have helped the new players transition to the college game. Who are they going to miss most next year?
I got to go with Savannah Riley, obviously. She leads the team in goals, assists, shots on goal, points, basically every offensive category. She's been a leader for the team in this new conference. But also, I'm going to go with Angie King. Angie King has been huge. She's been a rock in the midfield for this team. She leads the nation in defensive saves with 12. The second-place person in the NCAA with defensive saves is 7, which is Becky Gerhart of Temple. So, obviously, Savannah Riley is going to be missed a lot, but Angie King cannot go. She's going to be missed, obviously, too. But Savannah Riley, obviously, when it comes to offensive stats, she's going to be missed the most.
Yeah, I would have to go with Savannah Riley, the hometown hero from Hamden, too. She leads the team with 8 goals and 4 assists this season. She's got 16 career goals and 7 career assists. Great numbers. And for a team next year, it's going to be in its second year in the Big East. They're going to miss her and her production next year in the Big East, no doubt.
What Chris is saying, the team has many good players coming up next season, too, with Michelle Federico, Dana Barlow, Inez Martinez, and Olivia Galini, who's been great for them in goal, only as a freshman. So I think there's a bright future in this conference for this team.
They're all those players you just mentioned are all going to have to step up if they're going to want to get the production they have been getting out of Savannah Riley as well.
Now let's move on, guys. Obviously going to lose some good senior talent, but anyways, let's switch over to the women's rugby team. The women's rugby team has been one of the best teams on campus this year. The defending national champions now sit at a 6-1 overall record and are fresh off a 213 victory over Castleton University. Yes, you heard it right, 213-0. Unbelievable. Guys, did they run up the score against Castleton?
Yes. It's 213-0. That's complete dominance, and it was unnecessary. Like Castleton, it's a first-year program. They have not won a game yet. They don't even have any scholarship players. It's a first-year program.
7, yep.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like Madison Grekas, she had 56 points. That's a quarter of the point. Like, come on, you don't need to do that. Like, you know you're gonna beat them. Like, if going into this game, I would hey, let's try something out new. Let's try something like a different formation, a different lineup, knowing that you're going to beat this team. Let's not just beat them like out this much. It's crazy to me. Like, come on.
I don't think they ran up the score in this game. Obviously 213-0 is an outrageous score, even in rugby.
So you admit
But
that, right?
no, I don't think they ran up the score because there's no stopping in rugby. The whole goal is to get tries, and there's no stopping. And if you do stop, you're going to get tackled, and obviously you don't want to get tackled. Even in the second half, they played a woman down. They played instead of with 11 players, they played with 10 players, and basically just pulled back on the reins. They did not try as hard as they should have. If they tried and had 11 women on the field, this would be a whole different discussion. They obviously would have ran up the score. 213-0 is crazy, but I don't think it was running up the score.
That's what it is.
It wasn't unnecessary.
Yes, it is.
No, it's a statement because they came off a loss to Central Washington.
You have to think
Before
this, Castleton was outscored by all their opponents in 7 losses, 520-25.
Yeah. Yes.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, but coming off a loss to Central Washington, I think Castleton just caught Quinnipiac at a tough time. It is a statement game.
Of course they're going to win. They're 0-8. They're a first-year program.
Guys, let's bridge it over to that question, as you just said, Drew. Was this a statement game coming off a tough loss to the Central Washington team,
100%.
which they just lost only 19-12? It was a close game.
100%. They had fire in their eyes, and they were looking to take down Castleton, who obviously we knew they were bound to beat. But still, at that high of a margin, obviously it's a statement game. They're showing the other teams in the conference that we're here to play, and that one loss is not going to define us as a team.
This is not a statement game. Seriously, if I'm Central Washington or I'm a Penn State team who they just added to their schedule, I'm looking at this like, oh, wow, Quinnipiac just won 213-0. Sick brag. Cool, it was against Castleton.
And we're gonna stop it right there. Anyways, now, when we come back on Bobcat Breakdown, has the women's soccer team found their goalie of the future? And after a tough 2015 season, the men's soccer team has rebounded to become one of the best teams in the MAC. What's behind their 2016 success? We'll give you all the details. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike's sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken and cheese for just over $4. Giant cheesesteak subs and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 6477 to make your next appointment at a sheer sensation.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. The men's soccer team has come out of nowhere this season as they now sit alone at the top of the MAC. Winners of 6 straight, the team looks ready for a postseason run. But guys, what's the biggest reason for their turnaround? I mean, this team was 2-11 last year, and now they're 10-5. I mean, what's behind it?
I gotta say, I know Eamon Whalen has been absolutely dominant this year. 10 goals as a freshman is crazy, but I'd say the biggest turnaround is because of freshman goalie Chris Yakovidis from Greece. I mean, he's been crazy. He's only allowed 11 goals in 13 starts this season, has allowed less than 1 goal a game with a .85 goals against average. I mean, last year's goalie, Tristan Henry, allowed 24 goals, which is more than double what Yakovidis has allowed this year. I mean, he's been absolutely dominant. No doubt that he's the change. A goalie for soccer is the core. He makes sure the back line of the defense is organized, and he's basically the voice for the team. Besides the coach, I think he's been the biggest change for this team and the biggest thing going forward for this team.
I gotta agree with you right here. Defense wins championships, and as you mentioned, they didn't have it last year with their goalie. Chris Yakovidis hasn't allowed more than 2 goals in one. Most he's allowed is 2 goals in a game. That's very impressive, especially for a freshman goalie. First season here at Quinnipiac. Gotta say, it's very impressive, and I think he is a reason that they are on top of the MAC 6-1 right now.
You gotta give credit to Eamon Whalen, though. He's been absolutely unstoppable for this team. As a freshman, 10 goals.
He's been the heart of the offense.
Exactly. He's been the heart of the offense. He scored 2 goals against Siena, both penalties. He's been unstoppable for them. He's also a big change, but I gotta say the goalie has been a little more. Chris Yakovidis has been a little more than Eamon
Now,
Whalen.
guys, obviously we know they're led by a young core. Whalen, obviously you just said, are they a legit contender, or was this year a fluke?
I think they're definitely a contender this year. As you know, they're 6-1 at the MAC. I know last year they struggled a little bit. Is this a fluke? I don't think so. Chris Yakovidis is playing amazing, as we just said, and they have Eamon Whalen. They have a lot of young guys stepping up, but also they've had great leadership from some of the older guys. You know, James Doig went down with an injury
Huge
recently,
injury.
but he's being a great leader, even from the sidelines. And then you have Rashawn Daly. He's been great for the offense, and I think that they can carry this and win a MAC championship. I really do think they have a shot at the championship.
You know, I hate to agree with Chris here, but I do not think it was a fluke season. Coach Eric DaCosta has brought in great freshmen like Yakovidis, like Whalen, who've changed the whole dynamic of this team. At the front with the attack and the defense with the goalie being Yakovidis, I think even with the experience of the upperclassmen like Doig, who did go down, but he's still like another coach on the sidelines now, building this team. I do not think this was a fluke, and also recruits coming in, seeing the success this year, are going to be even more excited to come and play harder for this team and Eric DaCosta.
It's definitely a change for this program, and now it's a winning attitude they have.
You have to think, last season, they scored 11 goals all season.
All season.
Whalen has 10 already. It's truly incredible, and as you guys said, they're probably going to go far.
Great turnaround.
But guys, if they beat Ryder this Saturday, do you think anyone can beat Quinnipiac come playoffs?
I don't think so, no. I think if they beat Ryder, I don't see anyone beating them in the playoffs. They've proven that they can beat top-level teams in the MAC. They beat Siena, Marist, Monmouth, 3 of the top 5 teams, not including Ryder, who they are going to play, and Quinnipiac, who sits first. And momentum is huge for this team. They've been coming off wins. I think if they beat Ryder, there's no stopping them going into the playoffs.
Well, it's hard to say that no one will beat them, especially because the playoffs are coming up, and the playoffs is it's a whole different league. You know, these teams are coming to play. They have something to play for now. It's hard to say they will never lose again, or they won't lose again. But it's pretty safe to say if they beat Ryder, they're the real deal this year. They have a great shot going into the tournament.
You guys said it. Now, after both Manhattan College and Niagara University lost, Quinnipiac's women's soccer team was ensured a spot in the 2016 MAC tournament. Behind their success has been freshman goalie Olivia Majewski. Guys, she's been great behind goal for the Bobcats. Yeah. Is she the starting goalie of the future for this team?
I have to say so. And I was on Sports Pause last night. I was talking about the women's team struggle as of late, how they've been letting up leads, let leads go, let teams back into the game at the end of the game. And usually people will go and just blame that on the keeper. But I don't see that with her. I don't see that in this team. I blame the players in front of her, the defense. They got to step up. These subs got to step up in front of them. I really do think she is the goalie of the future.
I mean, as you just said, even with the subs not doing well, she still has almost an 800 save percentage.
And I mean, I don't know what it could be. It could be a communication issue. She is a freshman. Maybe the communication isn't there with some of the older players. I'm not sure, but I think she's been a rock in between the pipes this year. I think she is the goalie of the future. I don't see who else would take it.
I agree. I do think she is the goalie of the future. I mean, she's been great this year as a freshman, I mean, we're talking a lot about freshmen, her including. As a freshman, she has 2 shutouts, almost an 800 save percentage, as you said, which is great, and it's better than the other 3 goalies that QU has in its arsenal. I mean, they have another great goalie in
They have
Charlotte
one graduate
Edmonds.
student also, so you see
Yes.
the freshman took over the graduate spot.
Exactly. So it just shows the confidence they have in Majewski, and I think going forward, she will be the starting goalie.
She's the real deal.
She is the real deal.
How far do you think this team can go in the playoffs?
I also talked about this a little bit on pause last night, Sports Pause. I see, so right now they have one more game to play against St. Peter's. I see them winning that game. St. Peter's has not won a conference game yet. So I see them winning that game, and they stay in this 5th seed because Marist beats Niagara and they stay in the 4th seed. So they travel to Marist. I don't see them winning that game. They're 2-6-1 on the road this year, and they beat Marist at home, but they're undefeated at home, and they have to go to Marist. And again, it's a playoff game. It changes everything. These teams are going to come and bring it. I don't think they go to Marist and beat a good Marist team.
That's an interesting take. Drew,
Yes.
I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm interested too because I think that Quinnipiac will beat Marist in the playoffs. I think that the seeds will stay the same,
Okay.
but I do think that Quinnipiac will beat Marist. Quinnipiac is in Marist's head. They beat them 3-0. I mean, it was at home, and they're not that great away, but still, I think they have their number.
Okay.
However, okay.
Yes, I'm listening.
After the Marist game, I don't see them beating the next team because they're either playing Monmouth or Siena, who they haven't beaten yet this season. So I think, going against what he said, I think they will beat Marist in that game. I know it's a playoff game. The atmosphere is all different, but still, I think they will.
But it is the second time they're playing them. They know what to expect this time. So let me give you an example. Volleyball team beat Manhattan 3-0. Second time they played Manhattan, they lost 3-2. It's like the same thing. It's the second time around. They know what to expect.
Yeah, but then
and
again,
it's at home. It's at home, and
but
it's a
then
playoff
again,
game.
no. But then again, Quinnipiac also knows what to expect because they already played Marist. It's the same thing. You're just contradicting yourself.
I don't think they're going to Marist to win. I told you.
Well,
they've
obviously
been-
they're going
they've been
there to
struggling.
win.
They've been struggling as of late. They're letting teams back into the game. The subs aren't playing at the same level as the starters are. I don't see them winning. It's not realistic.
Yeah,
to
but
me.
you just said it's all different in the playoffs. So why are you comparing the regular season to what's going to be in the playoffs?
I said it is different in the playoffs. Marist is going to bring it, and they're going to beat Quinnipiac.
I know, but you're saying the subs haven't been playing.
Yes,
That's
the
regular
subs
season.
have-
This is not playoffs.
Okay, I'm saying the subs have not been bringing it as of late, going into the playoffs. This is the time where they need to step up because the playoffs is the biggest time of the year right here.
Then I think they'll step up and beat Marist again.
I don't believe so.
Question now. Do you think Majewski, I need a yes or no answer, is Majewski the X factor for this team come playoffs?
Yes.
No, I have to say it's going to be the starting lineup and how the subs come in and.
You're only as good as your goalie.
Well, we're going to finish that up later. Anyways, now, when we come back on Bobcat Breakdown, Chris and Drew discuss what they believe is the game of the week. And the women's ice hockey team will start conference play this weekend. How will they fare? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken and cheese for just over $4. Giant cheesesteak subs and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. The men's ice hockey team is coming off a tough 3-0 road loss to Boston University. One of the team's most glaring issues has been their power play efficiency. Guys, you have to take into account right here, they lost a lot of seniors from their power play last year. Has this concerned you, their lack of efficiency when it comes to their power play?
No, it has not. I mean, obviously the power play was 0 for 12 in that game, which is not great. Ren Pecknold said it's a work in progress. They did lose a lot of seniors with Travis St. Denis, Sam Annis, and Devon Tays, who were absolutely huge for this team last year.
NHL draft picks.
Of course. And he said they lost a lot of good players, which is true, and they need to find themselves, which is true. I mean, if everyone is not meshing together, no chemistry, they're not going to produce as well, obviously, and that showed in the 0-12 power play against BU. Also, hockey beat reporter Kirby Paulson, said they just need to define themselves as a unit, basically. They don't know exactly.
It's a transition.
It is exactly.
Really
it is a transition period, and it takes time, and it's just too early in the season to be concerned about that, I think.
Chris, what do you think about
I also agree with Drew here. I talked to another beat reporter, MJ Baird, and he said that look for Tim Clifton and Landon Smith. These guys have to step up. And he also said that these opportunities are there right now. These guys just need to get the chemistry down and make sure they get these good shots and get these chances down. Listen, it's early in the season still. ECAC
Still have to find their groove.
Exactly.
Conference play didn't start yet. I want to say they still have time, but they do need to pick it up soon. I think they do eventually get the chemistry down and get the power play to be where they want it. Not as good as last year, though. They have the talent. They have talent this year. They're not going to be as talented as last year.
I mean, you have to think, it was NHL draft prospects last year commanding the power play, and now this year it's a lot of transitioning pieces.
Exactly.
It's these guys are being thrown in there. Obviously, they probably have some power play experience.
They have a lot of power play experience. They've obviously been playing hockey all their life. Obviously, they have a lot of power play experience.
I'm saying it's just that they don't have the experience or the chemistry like these guys did last year.
I mean, guys, consider this. Tonight, after the second period against UMass, they were 0 for 5 of the power play chances.
Yeah.
And last year, they were tops in the nation on power play efficiency.
Okay.
This year, 0 for 12 yesterday.
I mean, you have to consider, is it something in
12?
practice? Is maybe
Yes.
the unit as a whole isn't connecting when it comes to the schemes of power plays?
I believe that Rand Pecknold will get this power play back into gear, though. It's, like I said, it's still early. I think they have the talent on that power play for it to be successful, to be up there.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything of high concern yet. I mean, like you said, Chris, ECAC play is coming up. It's coming up faster than they probably expect, but I mean, it is still really early in the season.
Yeah.
It is a young team. I think they'll find it come the end of the season.
Right now, these out-of-conference games will hurt them in the standings. Like
But
the
it
US
doesn't. The
Yes.
standings don't matter right now.
Exactly.
It's so early that
The
conference
It's
plays.
just a matter
will-
of finding your feet.
Exactly.
They need, and what they really need to do is get it together for conference play, because that's where it's going to matter the most. at
Now,
the
we're
end.
talking about early in the season, and Rand Pecknold caused some controversy when he named Andrew Shortridge, the freshman from Alaska, as the starting goalie against BU the other night.
Right.
And BU is one of the best teams in the country on paper.
Yeah.
11 players on the roster, NHL draft picks.
It's not bad at all.
Now, some say there's a goalie controversy. In Bobcat Breakdown last week, they said there was a goalie controversy. But do you think that the lack of a solid goaltender, always starting night in, night out, is affecting the defense and the team as a whole?
Definitely. I mean, consistency is key. I mean, the defense has to change their game plan
There's
going
still
in.
a lot of moving parts. on
There's a
defense.
lot of moving parts. I mean, they have to look at each goalie and be like, okay, what is this goalie's strengths? What are his weaknesses? What do we have to change? And if they're changing goalies every game, they have to change
The mentality is
their
gonna switch
mentality
a lot.
every single game. And I mean, both Shortridge and Truel have been great for the Bobcats so far. I mean, it's both their first season playing freshman and then a transfer from Army. I think they've done well with what they have. I don't think there's a controversy. I don't think they're too concerned with it. I think they're just concerned with what they do on the ice. But I mean, consistency is key for this team going forward.
And it's like unfair to the other players, the other starters. Knowing who's behind you defending the net is huge.
When you
And
go
if
in
you
every
don't-
night knowing
yeah,
who's
if
back
you
there,
don't
it's
go-
a different
and
mentality.
If you go into every game not unsure of who's going to start behind you, that's
You
scary.
have to change your own
That's
game
scary
plan.
to me, because you might not find out a couple hours before the game or the day before a game. You have to prepare yourself. Okay, this goalie's used to this, or communication might be different. Okay, this goalie's used to this goalie does that. It's a completely different game,
But also makes you
depending
think-
on which goalie starts.
The opposing teams are going to have to study film of both Truel and Shortridge, though.
Yeah,
so, I mean, you
it
can
could
take that
be.
as an
Yeah,
advantage.
it could be an advantage to them because they don't really know who's starting that game, so they have to watch extra highlights of each, which I mean, Shortridge doesn't have a ton so far. He's only started a few games, but still, it's got to throw them off slightly. I mean, against BU it didn't really because it was a freshman going in there, and BU has, as you said, 11 NHL prospects, and I mean,
tonight against UMass, Truhl had 17 saves and 19 shots, so that's pretty good. I mean,
Right.
UMass
Pretty
is a
efficient.
team that's not really in the
Yeah.
upper echelon, but
if
it's
I
still
was
pretty good.
if I was Rand Pecknold, I mean, obviously I wouldn't want those 2 goals in, especially against UMass, who is Hockey East, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And
But they're at the bottom of the Hockey East.
still, but Hockey East is a very competitive conference, and I do think that even though they are at the bottom, he still wants those saves. And I don't know,
Another thing this does with the goalie switch, it affects the goalie's confidence.
Of course.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't trust me to start every game. Like, I suck, maybe. I don't know. But the goalies aren't going in with the same confidence.
Why is it him over me?
Exactly. Why is it me over him this game? Or why is it me this game? Do you not trust me against this team? Was I not good enough to go in about BU, but UMass, I'm fine? It's just not good for the goalie's confidence.
Anyways, now switching over to the women's side of the puck. Puck down. The team tied and lost to a very talented Boston College team over the weekend. While it's still early in the season, it was a tough weekend for the Bobcats. Guys, what did you see from the team over the Boston College series? What does it mean going forward?
you can go first.
Well, game 1, I thought that was an amazing game for the
Defensive
team.
battle.
Yes, it was a
Definitely.
defensive battle. Hockey East team up there in the Hockey East.
The only game Boston College lost last season was the national championship.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's a huge game for this team. To tie that team, Hockey East, at their arena, that's a great game. That's a great game for them. Builds confidence for them. And, that makes and gets them know, like Quinnipiac, hey, they can play with the best here, all right?
Well, I think we already knew that they can play with the best, but
But then the
first
next game they lost 3-2.
I-
Or
4-1.
4-1.
4-1. I mean, the first game was very promising for Quinnipiac. QU outshot BC 38-23, and Sydney Rossman played outstanding.
She's been a
Sec-
rock for them all season.
Definitely.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
the second game was a different story. I mean, I think that BC basically just outskated the Bobcats, especially in the third period, where they let up two.
The first 2 periods, Quinnipiac was with Boston
For the
College.
most part.
For the most part.
But Chris-
they were down 2-1 going into the third period.
Chris,
and
you said that the 0-0 tie built confidence. How would that build confidence if they lost 4-1 the next
Well,
game?
like I said, they were in the game for the first 2 periods. They had an injury to Danielle Marmer.
Concussion,
In game 2.
yep.
She had a,
Yep.
she
Brutal
got
hit.
yeah,
That was a
brutal
brutal-
hit. So
brutal
you know that affects the team. Going into that.
But she doesn't get that
the
much
lines
playing
and stuff.
time either. You have to think about.
Yeah.
So,
But any injury like that, especially one, she was down on the ice for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
That affects the team emotionally.
I was at that game. When she got up, she couldn't. She stumbled back
Yes.
to the ground.
Correct,
Trainers
yeah.
had to come out and get
Drew
her.
and I were at that game too.
Yeah,
and
that
it
was a brutal hit.
It was a brutal hit.
But
But you're right, though. They did play up to par with Boston College,
Yes.
but then really,
was
after
like-
the second, they were just
It was
way
like
too fast.
middle of the second into the third period. I just think that BC outplayed them. I think that Quinnipiac basically when they gave up that third goal, put their heads down a little bit and were like, okay, like this is what's going to happen. But then BC just turned on the Jets, scored a
Exactly,
fourth
just
goal.
overtook it.
Both the third and fourth goal. The third goal was a shorthanded goal. It was a 5-on-3, which was just the defense was not there. And then
Now, guys, this weekend they play their first ECAC games, which begins a huge stretch of conference games. First they got Yale, then Brown. What are your expectations for the team heading into conference play?
Well, I think they're pretty good. I think, especially with that coming off that BC win, it's a huge win. Obviously, it's not a conference game, but going into conference play, I think they're going to do great. They were 16-2-4 last year. I expect them to do better, or as good, if not better.
Clarkson's really the only.
Yeah,
threat
I
to
was-
that
that's what I was
ECAC.
gonna- yep.
Exactly. I want to see how they do against Clarkson. I see that's the only threat. It's one of those teams for the championship this year.
I
if you look at me.
gotta agree. I think they're gonna be fine at ECAC play. I mean, TTC Inferno has been absolutely massive for them, not only this season, but
She's the leading scorer
She was
from
the
last
leading
year.
scorer from last season in
And this
points,
season.
goals, and assists. She's back. I think the only, as you said, I think the only threat is Clarkson. They knocked them out of the tournament last year. I mean, they are definitely the biggest threat in the ECAC. I think that's the only problem that will, the only problem for Quinnipiac going into ECAC play, but I think they're going to be just fine.
They're going to need that leadership from.
They're going to need Samoskevich
Yeah,
and
I was about
Cianfrano
to say that.
because
They
they've been
need that.
targeted by other
Yes.
teams.
They
Right.
need that leadership, and
Yeah,
they need other players to step up around them because those teams know, hey, you stop these players.
Cianfrano and Samoskevich were both held with no points in
Yeah.
the BC series. They're going to have to step it up going into conference
They-
play. They're going to have to
exactly.
play huge
I mean,
going to
Cass
conference play.
Turner said today to me that Samo and Cianfrano, they know that they've been limited by other teams. They know
Yes.
they've been targeted, but they're driven in practice, and it's going to benefit
Definitely.
them in games.
Practice makes perfect,
It's
exactly.
gonna rub off to other people, other players too.
Well, anyways, that's all the time that we have here tonight. Be sure to check out all of our content on Q30television.com and theqbsn.com. Make sure to also follow us on social media at Q30Sports and at QBSM. Thank you all again for joining us for another edition of Bobcat Breakdown. For Chris Dacey and Drew Feinberg and the amazing production crew behind the scenes, I'm Phil Acree. Have a good night.